In this video, I'd like to show some examples of solving quadratic equations by factoring method. Quadratic equations have the standard form of ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, where a, b, and c are known values, but a value cannot be 0. To solve equations, there are several ways: by factoring, completing the square, the formula, or graphing. However, all methods start with setting the equation equal to 0, which is very important. I'd like to show the method by factoring in this video. There are three types of solutions. One solution, which is often called double root. Two solutions with real numbers or imaginary number cases. Factoring means finding what to multiply to get the quadratic. For example, to have a product of 6, we can multiply 1 times 6, or 2 times 3, or 1.5 times 4, and so on. There are infinitely many combinations to have 6. However, how about having the product of 0? 0 times any number should be 0, or any number times 0 should be 0 as well. To have 0 as the product, we need to think about only two possibilities. So, setting the equation equal to 0 is important. Let's take a look at the first example A. First of all, avoid a common mistake that you divide both sides by x. If you divide, then you'll lose one of the solutions. Then always make sure to have 0 on the right side of the equation. Now, we can see the common factor x in each term. Take this x out from each term, and we are left with 4x minus 3 inside the bracket. So the equation becomes x multiplied 4x minus 3 equal to 0. Let's set each factor to be 0. From the left factor, we get x equals 0, solving the right factor to get x equals 3/4, or 0.75. Now we have two solutions. Let's check the solutions just in case. First, substitute one solution 0 into the original equation to see if the left side and the right side are equal. We have 0 on both sides. Next, substitute the other solution 3/4 into the original equation again. This time we have 9/4 each side, which tells us both solutions satisfy the equation. Let's look at another example B. First, always make sure to have 0 on one side of the equation. We move the right side terms to the left. Let's simplify the left side of the equation. We have now simplified the equation x squared plus x minus 6 equals 0. Let's try to factor the left side of the equation by cross method. If you'd like to know more details for this method, please watch my separate video which is called factoring. Write two sets of brackets to start. For the first term, think about the factors of x squared, and place each factor x in the left part of each bracket. Next, move to the last term. Find the factors of 6, either 1 times 6 or 2 times 3. First, we try to use 2 times 3 combination since there is only one difference between the two numbers, which must match the middle term. And place each factor 2 and 3 in the right part of each bracket. The order could be 3 on top and 2 bottom. Then we cross-multiply to get 2x and 3x. And look at the sign of the last term. It is minus, which means that either 2 or 3 should have the negative sign. However, the sum of those products must match the middle term plus x. So we choose minus 2 and the plus 3 combination to have the sum of plus x. Place a minus sign for 2 and a plus sign for 3 to have x minus 2 times x plus 3 equals 0. Let's set each factor to be 0. From the left factor, we get x minus 2 equals 0, which gives us x equals 2. Solving the right factor by moving 3 to the right to get x equals minus 3. Now we have two solutions. Let's check the solutions again. First, substitute one solution, 2, into the original equation to see if the left side and the right side are equal. We have minus 2 on both sides. Next, substitute the other solution, minus 3, into the original equation again. This time we have 18 each side, which tells us both solutions satisfy the equation. Let's look at another example C. First, always make sure to have 0 on one side of the equation. Then check the common factors before applying cross method. We do not see any common factors in this question. Write 2 sets of brackets to start. For the first term, think about the factors of 5x squared, and place each factor 5x and x in the left part of each bracket. The order could be x on top and 5x bottom. Next, move to the last term. Find the factors of 3. 1 times 3. Since the sign of those products should be negative, either one should be negative. Minus 1 times plus 3 or plus 1 times minus 3. And place each factor 1 and 3 in the right part of each bracket. The order could be 3 on top and 1 bottom. Then we cross multiply to get x and 15x. However, the sum of those must be minus 14x in the middle term. And to have the negative sum, 15x, which is greater value, must have a minus sign. Then place a plus sign for the 1 and a minus sign for 3. So the equation becomes 5x plus 1 times x minus 3 equals 0. Let's set each factor to be 0. From the left factor, we get 5x plus 1 equals 0, which gives us x equals negative 1/5. Solving the right factor by moving 3 to the right to get x equals 3. X equals negative 1/5 or 3 should satisfy the equation. Let's look at the last example D. First, always make sure to have 0 on one side of the equation. Then check for common factors before applying cross method. We do not see any common factors in each term. The expression most likely has the form of perfect square trinomials since the first and the last terms have the squared forms. The first term 25x squared is 5x squared and the last term is 3 squared. Now let's write 2 sets of brackets to start. For the left part of each bracket, place 5x. And place minus 3 for the right part of each bracket. Because of squared term, both must have the same sign, and those must be minus signs in this case, because the middle term has a negative sign. Then we cross-multiply to get minus 15x twice, and make sure the sum should be minus 30x, which matches the middle term. So the answer should be 5x minus 3 times 5x minus 3 equals 0, which means 5x minus 3 squared equals 0. Let's set the factor to be 0. Moving 3 to the right side to get 5x equals 3, which gives us x equals 3/5. This time we have only one solution, 3/5, which is called double root. In this video, I show the factoring method to solve quadratic equations. In any method, we need to make sure to get 0 on one side of equations with some exceptions. There are 3 types of solutions. If you want to practice more on factoring, please watch another video which is called factoring. Thank you for watching. See you next time.